This is Amanda Pierce. She just finished a double shift at Lucille's diner. The smell of old grease and cheap coffee still clung to her worn, blue uniform. Her fingers, usually steady carrying trays, were trembling violently as she stood in the dark wings. This wasn't a school recital. This was the largest stage of her life. She was here for a prize of $500,000. She wasn't here for fame or a record deal or a dream she had buried years ago. She was here to save her mother. 3 months of aggressive cancer treatments had already stripped them bare. Every card was maxed out. The experimental treatment that offered a real chance at life remained cruelly out of reach. Now it was just the stage and the spotlight. And the man in the center chair. He was the problem. His name was Marcus Blackwood, the billionaire music mogul. Everyone knew the story, an uncanny ability to spot raw, world-changing talent. His reputation was legendary, but his heart had turned to stone. 3 years ago, he lost his wife in a tragic accident. Since that day, the industry whispered, Marcus Blackwood hadn't signed a single new artist. He hadn't felt genuine music. He was a judge of technical skill, not of soul. Amanda stepped onto the gleaming stage. The lights were blinding, a sharp, white glare. She could just make out the silhouettes of the judging panel. The center figure leaned forward slightly. Even from this distance, the sheer intensity of Marcus Blackwood's gaze was unmistakable. It felt clinical, detached. Her heart stuttered, a cold rhythm against her ribs. She was a waitress. He was a mogul. The gulf between them felt impossible to cross. Marcus finally spoke. His voice was colder than she expected. It cut through the silence. Name and occupation. His tone was flat, almost bored. Amanda took a deep, deep breath. She steadied her voice, refusing to let the tremble show. Amanda Pierce. She paused just slightly before finishing. I'm a waitress at Lucille's diner. The words felt heavy, defiant. A flicker, barely noticeable, crossed Marcus's face. Was it irritation? Dismissal? The subtle condescension sparked a small, hot flare of indignation deep within her. It temporarily pushed aside the crushing nervousness. He continued his interrogation. And what will you be singing for us today, Ms. Pierce? The waitress? The slight emphasis on her job title was a deliberate jab. Amanda lifted her chin. She met his cold eyes with a gaze just as steady. A song I wrote myself. Her voice was now strong. It's called Whispers of Tomorrow. The female judge, pop star Destiny Rodriguez, raised an eyebrow, suddenly interested. Marcus just tapped his pen against the table. The sound echoed in the massive auditorium. Unimpressed. Bold choice for an audition, he noted. Whenever you're ready, then. He leaned back, prepared to be bored. Amanda closed her eyes. She blocked out the cameras. She forgot the judges. She erased the million pairs of eyes that would eventually watch this moment on YouTube. She focused. She saw Helen, her mother, lying thin and pale in the hospital bed. Tubes snaked from her arms. Stage 4 ovarian cancer. It was a vicious enemy. But even now, Helen managed to smile for her daughter. Amanda would sing for that smile. She would sing as she never had before. She thought of the experimental treatment, the one that might actually work, waiting just out of reach. That was her fuel. The first note left her lips. It was pure, crystalline. It floated in the air, filling the hushed space. The effect was immediate. Marcus Blackwood's head snapped up. His pen froze mid-tap. The cold mask he wore shattered. By the time Amanda reached the chorus, his face was transformed. She sang of loss. She sang of the darkest night. She sang of the promise of dawn. Her voice soared through octaves with an effortless grace. It defied her lack of formal training. It was raw. It was authentic. It was the sound of a daughter fighting for a life. When the final note faded, a powerful silence descended. The audience was stunned. Destiny Rodriguez was the first to move. She rose to her feet in a standing ovation. "Where have you been hiding that voice, girl?" she exclaimed. The veteran producer, James Wilson, quickly joined her. Extraordinary. Truly extraordinary. But it was Marcus's reaction that truly mattered. He remained seated. He stared at Amanda. His gaze was intense. It was no longer cold calculation. It was something else. It looked like gratitude. "Why a waitress?" he finally asked, his voice softer now. "With a gift like that?" The question stung. Amanda stood tall. "Because singing doesn't pay my mother's medical bills, Mr. Blackwood." The truth was a sharp, simple weapon. Something shifted profoundly in his expression. "What's wrong with your mother?" he asked. The clinical judge was gone. The man remained. "Stage 4, ovarian cancer. The treatment she needs isn't covered by insurance." Marcus looked at the other judges. He had been reminded of why he started in music. He remembered his wife Caroline telling him, "Music without emotion is just noise, arranged prettily." For 3 years, everything had sounded hollow. Until now. Until a waitress in a stained uniform sang a song about hope. "I vote yes," Marcus said quietly. Emphatically, yes. Just like that, Amanda was through to the next round. The audience erupted. She caught Marcus's eye one last time. The coldness was gone, replaced by a flicker of interest, something that looked dangerously like hope. Amanda made it through, but her struggle was just beginning. The industry had noticed her, and the industry was hungry. Marcus immediately set his executives to work. He learned everything: the medical bills, the severity of the cancer, the desperation was real. Meanwhile, Richard Hargrove, the polished CEO of Empire Records and head producer of the show, was already circling. He saw her talent. He saw her vulnerability. He saw a product to exploit. Hargrove would use her mother's illness as leverage. Marcus saw the playbook coming. Empire's contract offered a generous $250,000 advance, enough to start the experimental treatment. But Marcus knew the fine print. The contract was predatory. It bound her for 7 albums. That could be 15 years of her life. They would control her image, her sound, her every move. The money was a loan, not a gift. If her first album failed, she'd owe them a fortune. She'd spend the next decade singing music she hated just to pay off the debt. He couldn't let it happen. He contacted Amanda for a secret meeting. He didn't offer his own deal first. He opened Empire's contract and showed her the fine print. "They can force you to record songs you hate," he warned her, his voice hard. "They will control your life." Marcus revealed his own history, how his wife had been his compass, how her death had stolen his passion. "Your performance reminded me why I started this business," he told her, "to protect exceptional talents from exploitation." He offered his own contract, 3 albums, 5 years. She would retain creative control and ownership of her master recordings. It was an artist-friendly deal. Later, Amanda went to her mother. Helen was weak, but her mind was sharp. Amanda showed her the contracts. Helen seemed strangely knowledgeable about the dense legal language. She quickly revealed her secret. Before Amanda was born, Helen had been a backup singer. She saw the industry eat young women alive. She left that life behind to protect Amanda from the same fate. "I wanted more for you than that life," Helen whispered. "I just didn't want you to pin all your hopes on a business designed to exploit." Helen's past explained everything: her warnings, her concern, even the entertainment lawyer she had recommended. The warnings resonated deeply with Amanda. She promised to be careful, but Hargrove wasn't finished. He took the fight to the hospital. He tracked down Helen. He sat by her bedside, playing the role of the benevolent corporate sponsor. He didn't pitch Amanda's career. He pitched her mother's health. "Empire Records would like to cover the complete cost of your mother's treatment," Hargrove said smoothly, "regardless of the competition outcome." The offer was a calculated, beautiful lie. It guaranteed coverage for the entire 6-month protocol, follow-up, and potential surgery. Helen's eyes brightened. The long-term fear of financial ruin suddenly vanished. "There are no strings attached," Hargrove lied, knowing full well the moral weight of the favor would force Amanda's hand. He then added a poison pill, twisting Helen's deepest fears. He mentioned that Amanda's closeness with Marcus had been noticed. He implied that their mentorship was improper, that Amanda's success would look like a personal favor, not talent. The choice was clear: sign with him, or risk her reputation and her mother's health. Amanda was cornered. She lashed out at Marcus. "You and Richard Hargrove are both using my mother's illness as leverage," she cried. "The only difference is you convinced yourself your intentions are noble." Marcus was stunned, wounded by the injustice of the accusation. He apologized, his professional mask returning. "I apologize if my actions overstepped." The distance between them was now vast. The competition was no longer about singing. It was a battle for her future, with her mother as collateral. The final night arrived. Amanda knew she had to perform. She had to win the money to buy herself options. She walked onto the stage and poured the sum total of her complicated emotions into the final song, Unashamed. Marcus watched her. He saw the fire. He saw the strength she had gained. He knew she was a star. The audience erupted. The applause was thunderous. Amanda Pierce was the clear winner. The prize money was hers. But her struggle wasn't over. She finally found a moment alone after the press conference. Marcus approached her. "You deserved it," he said, maintaining a careful distance. She realized that Marcus had already made his final move. He had contacted Helen's medical team. He had arranged for the complete treatment coverage to be transferred directly to her mother's name. No strings attached, no label affiliation required. The funds were available regardless of which recording contract Amanda chose. "I want you to make your career decision freely," Marcus explained, his composure finally breaking into genuine care. Not under duress. The move stunned her. It was pure support, independent of his desire to sign her. He even suggested she start her own independent label. "Maintain complete creative control," he advised her. It's a viable option now." The selflessness of his advice moved her deeply. The billionaire had given up his leverage for her freedom. Amanda now had the prize money and the secured healthcare. She didn't need either of them. She rejected both Richard Hargrove and Marcus Blackwood's offers. She took her prize money and, utilizing the distribution and promotion framework Marcus's team helped set up, she launched her own independent label, Indigo Sound. 6 months later, Helen was in the recording booth at Indigo Sound. Her recovery was progressing remarkably well. She was recording backup vocals for Amanda's debut album. The music was healing her. Marcus walked into the control room with coffee. He wasn't her boss. He was her business partner and trusted advisor. Their partnership was built on mutual respect. Their connection deepened, evolving slowly, carefully, beyond the lines of professionalism. "Mom sounds great," Amanda observed, watching her mother through the glass. "Music therapy at its finest," Marcus agreed, smiling at Helen's vibrancy. Amanda looked at Marcus, at the man who had been a cold judge, then a fierce protector, and now a genuine partner. She realized that she hadn't just won a talent show. She had rescued her mother. She had gained her freedom, and she had found her voice on her own terms. "Ready when you are," Helen called through the intercom, her voice strong and clear. Amanda exchanged a look with Marcus. "We're ready." She pressed the record button. Now, if you want to know the incredible details of Helen's secret past in the music industry, or how Amanda fought off Richard Hargrove's final, desperate attempt to sabotage her independent launch, click the link below to watch the full story right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of unbelievable real-life triumphs.